Brilliant. Can you see the screen, Andrew?
Yeah, brilliant stuff, Ed. Yeah.
Okay, again, our first speaker is one of my best friends. He is a property investor based in Bristol, and he's become very well known in our industry over the past year by the way he's helped investors make the right choices about, shall we say, questionable practices in the property industry. Some people view him as a bit of a godfather-like figure, but if, like the hundreds of people who he's helped, you probably view him as a bit of a saint, for want of a better word. I actually call him the Robin Hood of property. He's helped a lot of people save literally thousands. He has his own YouTube channel, Property Education Truth Seeker. He is well known throughout the industry and well liked by many good people. Would you put your hands together for making his debut property presentation all the way from Bristol, Mr. Andrew Burgess? Round of applause. Come on, virtually.
Oh, thanks so much, Ed. Thanks so much. It's such an honour to be on here. I hold this meet in such high regard. So it's brilliant to be on here talking in this light. So thanks so much for having me, Ed. So yeah, so I'm Andrew Burgess. So let's hit the first slide. So who am I? I am a property investor with 4 buy-to-lets. I also have a 5th residential. Founder of the charity, the Danny Butcher Foundation, with the great Ed as well, and obviously the Butcher family and Sebastian. I've helped many investors regain their funds back from questionable schemes. I'm the founder of the YouTube channel, Property Education Truth Seeker. I became interested in the regulation of the property training sector after investigating claims regarding no money down deals. Okay, these to me, I will say, that no money down is very scarce and very open to interpretation. So yeah, can we have the next slide, please, Ed? So, definition of due diligence. Due diligence is the investigation or exercise of care that a reasonable business or person is normally expected to take before entering into an agreement or contract with another party or an act with a certain standard of care. It's essential before embarking upon a property training course or entering into a business with a company or individual. It will typically involve extensive research into a company or individual. Examples include reviewing accounts, credit ratings and assets. These can save people, well, you know, as much money as you want to say if done correctly, lots. So yeah, next slide, please, Ed. So how not to do due diligence. How to do basic due diligence, a 5-step method. This method is focused on property, but it can actually be utilized in any industry. This is only a guide that is not intended as legal or professional advice. Can I have the next slide, please, Ed? So, before I tell you about how not to do due diligence, I'm just going to explain to a few things, right? So, some audience participation. Who here wants to make money?
Yay!
Who here wants to be financially free? Put your other hand up.
I'd love to be.
With both hands up. That's it. That's it. Hit it, Ed. Clap your hands. Clap your hands. Move like this. Okay. I wouldn't normally be seen dead doing this. I would stand up and clap, but you'll all get a crotch shot, which is not ideal. So this is the sort of thing that you want to run a mile from, in my opinion, in any event that's trying to sell you something. So get that negativity out of your head. Action takers, all this is putting you off your scent. High five the person next to you. No. Warren Buffett doesn't walk out with a groove on like that, does he? No, he sells the product. So, you know, let's move on. Next slide, please, Ed. So, how not to do due diligence, part 1. So, do not rely on reviews from sites like Trustpilot or Google. Do not take advertising at face value. Example, a picture of someone with a celebrity does not mean an endorsement. As you can see, there's me and the model Ed, okay? Do not assume a large social media following means someone is successful. And do not assume that having a best-selling book means the individual is knowledgeable. So next slide, please, Ed. So how not to do due diligence part 2. Now, these pictures, these two, me and the girls in the car, they are the only two genuine pictures. The other two pictures, the one at the bottom looks a bit fake and questionable, and the one in the aeroplane, that is actually the FCA's latest advert. If you were to see the advert live, that aeroplane would turn into a shape of a green screen in an aeroplane. So beware of bling. Anyone can fake a lifestyle to draw you in. People frequently hire expensive cars and pose in jets to give an illusion of wealth. The FCA are now warning investors of this. Again, see that advert and say, please check out my girls in the car. And that was pre-COVID times. We wouldn't be down the beach now, obviously. So yeah, could I have the next slide, please, Ed? So how not to do due diligence part 3. Do not fall for the following cliches if attending an event. I'll be revealing a secret formula to success. So there was one guru, the secret formula was something an old man told him, and he revealed it, and it was something like make money. And this is one going back to the 90s. And when I first saw this secret formula to success, obviously I started thinking algebraic formulas. So I was very disappointed when I found out it was all a gimmick, but it is a very gimmick. There is no negativity allowed in the room. You wouldn't go to take a toaster back to Argos and go, you know, no negativity. There's times in life, if the toaster blew up, you've got to be negative. You've got to give that feedback. Come meet my successful students. Fake it till you make it. Yeah. They're not always successful, or they are estate agents and should have been successful anyway, and they're just getting further customers off the back of this said gurus. And also they do assure you this is not a scam. I mean, if you met a new partner and they said, hi, nice to meet you, I will not kidnap you, you would run a mile. It's like, it is a scam or it isn't. I mean, a scam has to be declared by a judge. He brings the hammer down, scam. So every scam in history was once not a scam. So it can have the elements of a scam. So just because it's not a scam doesn't mean at the same time it's a good thing. It means you've got to be wary and do your due diligence. So yeah, one way is I was working on a US Air Force base as a cleaner. A captain went and he came and he introduced me and my friend Scott to a scheme. And I said, you know, put down your broom, Scott, this captain's going to make us rich. We went over his house and he drew a pyramid in front of me, which he ensured me wasn't a pyramid. And I said, you've just drawn a pyramid. And he's like, oh, no, but there's a few elements removed. Well, just because you remove a few elements and make the pyramid illegal, you can take the pyramid out of the desert, but it's still a pyramid. And I sat there like, oh, okay. And he explained that he didn't give us any food or anything. We were disappointed. It was straight down Burger King afterwards. We thought we were going to get Kool-Aid, waste of our time. So a captain should have been gone by merits. These sort of schemes around the US Air Force are being handed around like there's no tomorrow. So don't necessarily trust someone just because of their ranking. So yeah, next slide, please, Ed. So how to do due diligence. Step 1, check Companies House. Research the name of the company on Companies House by going to and following company information link. These slides will be sent out, and this link should be sent in your messages as well. Check the following. When the company was formed, be more wary of startups. I had a sourcer making fun of me for not having 50 properties by now, but he didn't have a single filing on his sourcing site. Do you know what I mean? His company hadn't even filed yet. And I was like, he's probably worth absolutely nothing. So people hide behind start. Look, I've got a company. Well, you've got no income. What directors have done in the past and their other directorships. Click the People's tab to see that, as you can see from the screenshots on the right. I've used a company called Red Star Limited, which I'm hoping won't sue me, but no, my luck they will, because they are dissolved. Whether the company has any charges, click the charges tab against it. So yeah, charges are basically, for those of you who don't know, if it's got property and with a mortgage, for example, that will come down as charges, various other things. So yeah, next one, please, Ed. So how to do due diligence. Step 1 continued. Basically check the latest company filings. See filings history tab. This includes accounts. So you've got your screenshots there. and we will email out these slides afterwards, that's fine. Learn to read a balance sheet, which, although inconclusive, is a good snapshot of a company's financial health. The following article, which will be posted to the chat section of Zoom, will tell people how to read a balance sheet. And again, you go check the chat section there. Warning, if someone is a sole trader, they will not be on a company's house. Ask to see their accounts verified by an independent accounting professional. Now, you might say that's a bit personal, but you're only buying from them because they're teaching you how to basically achieve what they've achieved. So if you don't know what they've achieved, I don't know why you would buy from them. So don't get too annoyed if they refuse, but to be blunt, run a mile. Yeah, so could I have the next one, please, Ed? So step 2 on how to do due diligence. Ask to see credit ratings for both the company and the individual directors. Would you invest in an individual or a company with poor finances? I think we all know the answer. Ask to see a company's full credit report. Ask to see the credit scores of the directors. And an individual credit report is different from companies. You kind of need to see both, but sometimes people will show you their individual one. Companies one's not quite as good. And most importantly, does not have to be perfect, but beware of CCJs. They are a massive red herring and makes the company very difficult to get any credit at all. So yeah, could I have the next one, please, Ed? So how to do due diligence step 3. Ask to see examples of property transactions and ownership. Training course providers and property investors frequently claim to own large portfolios. Anyone can claim to own something, but how do you know they are telling the truth? Like, you know I am, because I have pictures of me in my car and stuff, but other people might not. There are 2 ways. Ask to see the title deeds of the properties they own and they're associated with. These will tell you who has owned the properties and the historical prices paid. Ask for the address of the properties they own, are associated with, and then verify these on the land registry. Make sure you use the official land registry. And as you can see, we've given you a couple of screenshots there for you. So yeah, could I have the next one, please, Ed? Step 4, be streetwise to sales techniques. So at the beginning, I got a confession to make. I was trying to get you all upbeat, but that was actually NLP. So if you buy my course at the end of this, it's due to that. Neuro-linguistic programming, essentially pseudoscience, which is well-known selling technique on the surface. This usually manifests a sob story delivered by a salesperson crying, but less so in recent times because we called them out for crying a bit, so they seem to have got a bit less teary, and then claiming going on a training course changed their life. What I did earlier, again, was an example of NLP. Beware of low-cost free events where there can be a massive upsell, or have small print which sign you up to a subscription service, frequently costing amount a month. To be unfair, the average tends to be around 100 quid at the minute, but can vary. If you are in a taster training event and someone plays loud music and tries to whip the audience into a frenzy, run a mile, there's a time and place for that. It's nightclubs and not during COVID times. But so I'm not against dancing in general. I had a great time at event dancing, but I didn't learn a lot. So yeah, basically there's that. And I think I should point out at this stage, there can be one of these hardship stories, there can be a great religious element. On BBC iPlayer, there's a show called Catch Me If You Can, starring a girl who used the church to manipulate Christians with a lot of money as well as other stuff. So many of them are using religions, including, so nothing against religion, but you shouldn't be using it to sell something to someone, in my opinion. Yeah, could I have the next one, please, Ed? So step 5, use other resources. Property Tribe's website, a wealth of information of those with much experience who will often educate or point you in the right direction for free. Gets a lot of stick online, as with anything, but I'll tell you what, I went there and I posted about an HMO company, and I had about 5 people contact me privately on Facebook warning me not to buy from this company. And also it's warned many. So if you were to put the Property Tribes community on how much money they've saved people, I think they would never have to work themselves again. So check out Property Tribes website. Due Dil, more advanced due diligence resource. That's a real deep dive into companies. It's quite, it costs money, it does. It is definitely worth using though. And talk to individuals privately who have done business with the person or company you are doing due diligence on. That will unveil an awful lot, to be honest. So yeah, keep up that and definitely do that. So yeah, could have the next one, please, Ed. So want to learn more? Property Education Truth Seeker YouTube channel. I hopefully will be uploading this slideshow onto it, so keep an eye out for that if you want to see it again. Danny Butcher Foundation, that's a charity me and Ed are involved with. We want to earn more money for that and do some really good stuff with it. And basically, we're going to try and put some debt resources on there as well on the website when we get time to upgrade the website. But please help us with our charity. Add me on Facebook, Andrew Burgess. Drop me a message first so I can check that you're a real person. And also, I will be doing a mastermind table on due diligence later. So feel free to attend that if you wish to. So thanks very much. And also, I don't know if there's a final slide. I think I put one in, but I'll just give her a shout out if not. A young girl called Lexi, I said I'd shout her out. She helped me make the pictures. I've got a confession, they weren't all real. I actually drive a Honda Jazz, but thanks for actually helping me Photoshop my face onto some things. So thanks for that, Lexi. And thanks for listening, guys. And I hope you enjoyed that. Thanks very much.
Round of applause for Andrew Burgess, his debut presentation. What a debut.